Hi, welcome back to our second pre-conference video on organizing your course and developing a syllabus. Please don't think that before the Institute starts you have to work on your syllabus or like organizing your course. I just want to give you a little background and a little context so that we hit the ground running on Monday. You kind of have a little feel for what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start by sharing my course syllabus with you. I use the Friedland Relia book. Doesn't matter what textbook you use. Friedland and Miller are probably the two most common. This is the most recent version of the textbook, and I piloted the online version of that this year. I have some of this older edition, and as I've been ordering new replacements, they ordered this for me. This book just came out last year. So a couple of things to point out here. I have no idea what the fall is going to look like in my school, and I'm sure none of you at this point do either. Whatever happens, I am planning on giving a little bit of pre-work, just like you guys are having a little bit of pre-conference work, covering chapters 1, 2, and 20. That sounds like a ton to cover before you've even met the students. Chapters 1 and 2 don't have a ton of content in them, and I'm going to address that later. So if you have questions on that, just hold on to that thought. The other thing that I'll point out right now is that I do give my semester exam before winter break. So I have 10 units altogether, 5 of them before winter break, 5 after. And this makes my semester 1 and 2 a little bit more evenly spaced, 5 units each semester. Because remember, you don't have until June to teach your course. You have until the middle of April to actually teach content before you need to start reviewing. Let's take a look at a little bit of a discussion of why I do things the way I do. I do an extensive water testing field activity, so I need to have water testing done pretty early in the year. I like teaching freshwater resources and ecology with aquatic pollution. If you look at where they teach aquatic pollution now, it's in Unit 8. And when I look at all of the other content in Unit 8, I think water pollution is just a very engaging topic for students. It really grabs their interest early on. And I think it kind of gets a little watered down if we put it in with all these other really important topics. When you look at Unit 9 on sustainability, I'm not sure that I like saving all those sustainability issues until the end of the year. I think I like this approach of here's the problem, here's the science to explain that problem, and here are some justifiable solutions. It seems like a lot of times, otherwise, there's kind of like grinding through some content, and they don't get to um, the solutions and the positive aspects of things that are happening until the end of the year. Trust me, I'm still spiraling through content all the time. But if you have questions on that, you can post something to the discussion board and we can talk more about it. Another example, I like teaching human population separate from the idea of population ecology, biotic potential, and carrying capacity. And the CED puts all of them together in the same unit. I do air pollution at the end. There's not really a rhyme or reason other than there's some challenging content in that unit. And we come back to a lot of topics that we've built on throughout the year. And I feel it works well. If it's at the end of the year, it's not as much of a grab back into some of that knowledge to prepare for the AP exam. What should you do? There is no wrong way to organize your course. When you look at discussion boards with AP teachers, there are some people that just don't understand how you could not begin your year with Unit 4. Like that, they think that's just the most important unit. Some people are adamant that you have to do human population first. You do what works for you, your school, your student population, and your areas of expertise and interest. Our curriculum pacing is such that if, like, I get really jazzed about water pollution and water testing, I spend a little bit more time on that. And again, want to make sure I get all my field work in the fall hopefully before it snows. Just keep in mind that you want to tell a story from one unit to another. You want to make sure you're constantly adding to the big picture of how humans are interacting with their environment. What are some of those problems and what are some solutions? So you can make it work. Just be conscious that you're always making those connections, and are you spiraling and scaffolding the skills? Just a little bit on the AP audit, because this is kind of scary to people. If you are teaching AP Environmental Science for the first time, in the year 2021, you will need to submit 2 items: a subject-specific AP course audit form, and that's on AP Central, and documentation showing that you understand the course scope, choosing one of 4 methods. And these are identified here. Notice that it says adopt a syllabus. You can go to the audit page on AP Central and look at the sample syllabi that have been presented and say, syllabus 1 looks like it fits me. I'm adopting syllabus 1. You don't have to write anything. Now, obviously, very few of us would say, oh yeah, that syllabus looks good, I'm going to do that. So throughout the week in your asynchronous time, remember, you're going to be planning your course and what's going to go where and how you're going to organize it. But if you're freaking out about the AP audit, don't worry about it. These are all of the ways that you could fulfill that requirement. Once you have done that, you will get access to AP Classroom, and I'm going to show you AP Classroom, so don't worry about that right now. If you know you're teaching the course and you still don't have access prior to the workshop starting, you may want to try reaching out to your AP coordinator, because they often have to do something to make sure that you're authorized, and then you can have access to that. It's not a problem if you don't. So this is just a screenshot of my AP course page, and you can see down here that there is syllabus development guide. Remember in the previous lecture, at the end we had all those curricular requirements. It's basically just a checklist. Am I doing labs? Am I documenting that I'm doing the science practices? So there's plenty of resources to help you prepare for that. And again, this on my page is under resources. If you don't have access to AP Classroom, I'm going to show you what that's all about. And again, here are those curricular requirements. That's the checklist of things that you have to make sure that you include. And that does it for the syllabus and planning and the AP audit. So go ahead and kind of start taking another look through the CED, and I'll see you in a little bit.